Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is August the 21st. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local share market is set to open higher with ASX futures pointing up around 0.25%. European shares rose overnight while Britain's FTSE 100 rallied more than 1% to a record high, boosted by gains in consumer and healthcare companies. However, on Wall Street, the tech sell-off continued, dragging the Nasdaq and S&P500 lower, with investors moving into less highly valued sectors such as energy, healthcare and consumer staples. Some investors also worried about government interference in the private sector, with the Trump administration looking to taking an equity stake in chip firm Intel. All mega cap tech stocks fell. Nvidia's quarterly results are due on August 27th and are keenly awaited for clues on demand for AI. Also falling advanced micro devices and Micron, and elsewhere Apple and Alphabet also coming under pressure. Shares in retailer Target tumbled after the company named a new chief executive and retained its annual forecast that were lowered in May, although quarterly same-store sales declined less than anticipated and overall revenue came in ahead of expectations. Cosmetics giant Estee Lauder fell after tariff-related headwinds weighed on its annual profit forecast. And US-listed shares of James Hardie plummeted around 35% in the wake of its results, which identified weakness in its North American market and lower forecast earnings. Well, minutes from the Fed's last policy meeting noted concerns about higher inflation and weaker employment, but concluded a majority of participants judged the upside risk to inflation as the greater of these two risks, and that several participants emphasised that inflation had exceeded 2% for an extended period, and that this experience increased the risk of longer-term inflation expectations becoming unanchored in the event of drawn-out effects of higher tariffs on inflation. The committee also discussed financial stability, with several participants expressing concerns about elevated asset valuation pressures. Meanwhile, President Trump has called on Fed Governor Lisa Cook to resign over allegations of mortgage fraud. Cook was appointed by President Biden, and Democrats have accused Donald Trump of concocting lies in an effort to oust the first black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve Board. Elsewhere, Sweden's central bank kept its key interest rate on hold, as expected. And in the UK, consumer prices climbed 3.8% in July, the fastest annual rise for a Group of 7 economy. US Treasury yields have fallen modestly as investors await Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's comments on Friday at the symposium at Jackson Hole in Wyoming. The 10-year yield dipped to 4.29%, the 2-year was at 3.74%. And the US dollar index weakened slightly while the British pound nudged higher, but then paired gains in the wake of the inflation read. And the Aussie dollar is lower at 64.3 US cents. And Bitcoin, it is trading at around 114,000 US dollars. Oil prices have surged on a bigger than expected weekly drop in US crude inventories, as investors also consider the prospect of an end to the Ukraine war. Brent crude futures up more than 1.5% at $66 a barrel. Copper and iron ore a little changed, and gold has firmed as the US dollar eased. Spot gold at $3,345 an ounce. Now, it's another packed day on the earnings calendar. Among those companies reporting results today are Auckland International Airport, Bega Cheese, Brambles, Charter Hall, Downer, Goodman Group, Insignia, Fisher & Paykel, Helios, Megaport, Netwealth, Northern Star, Perpetual, Sonic Healthcare, Super Retail, Whitehaven Coal and Xero. That is today ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.